it's Lori here, your positivity princess, self-appointed of course. There was something that came up to me that, again, a topic that came up in my head, and I've been following my hunches and intuitions, which is leading me down an interesting path of self-discovery and just discovery of things in the world, like the universe. So the thing that popped up for me is something from my video from Monday where I talked about the 12 universal laws, and one of them is the law of attraction. A lot of those laws work closely together, so they are basically, they're not necessarily dependent on each other, but they're closely related. So one of the laws that jumped out at me is called the law of relativity. So you hear about relativity, you think right away science. You think E equals mc squared, or that's what pops into my head. And I guess that's the scientist in me, or the science major. But I mean, when we're talking about relativity here, with regard to these 12 universal laws, we're talking about everything that happens to you can be looked at relative to something else. So when something happens to you that you can perceive as negative, bad, derogatory, sad, something like that, on the negative spectrum of emotion or reaction, or we feel a certain way, or we take something from that. Not always something good either. So what we're supposed to do is say to ourselves, okay, well, could be worse. If the thing that happened to me is that I don't have much money in the bank, I can say to myself, hey, I'm still within the top, whatever, 1 or 2% of wealthy people in the world, because I have, a paying job, and I have a home to live in, and I have a car to drive, and I have, it kind of does boil back down to gratitude.
The law of relativity is all about the neutrality of things when seen in isolation. So, no particular person, experience, emotion, or action is evaluated as good or bad until you look at it in comparison with something else. For example, you might think you're poor, but perhaps that's because you have 3 wealthy uncles. By keeping this law in mind, you remain conscious of the fact that there are always multiple perspectives on anything that happens to you. Trying to slip into these alternative perspectives can make you more grateful and can also show you where you can make improvements in life.
Okay, so as I'm thinking about relativity, there's a flip side to it. And it's this idea that when I feel something, let's say I feel stressed about being home during this time, and at this moment I'm more stressed than before, because now things are starting to loosen up and calm down. So people are happy and they're going to the park and they're having barbecues and parties, and I'm sitting here with my anxiety saying, am I allowed? Should we be doing this? Am I allowed? What am I supposed to? When somebody invites me over, now I have to decide if it's the right thing to do. Before, I kind of liked the idea of not having to make that decision. And that's not free will. Having the government decide what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do, that's not, the democratic way of the Western world. But it eased my anxiety. I'm putting it that way. All right, so bottom line here is that when you use relativity, you have to keep in mind you're still allowed to feel the way you feel. So any emotion you have or feeling or thought, it may not be serving you on a long-term basis if it's on the negative spectrum, but you should look at it and say, validate it. Think about the origin of it, maybe where it came from. Maybe you can think about what triggered it, and then have a response to it. So if the way I felt was trapped maybe in this big giant house, you know what? Yeah, I can say, hey, at least I have a house. But I can also say, okay, what's this trapped feeling? Is it actually a physical trapped feeling? Am I feeling that maybe I've created this kind of hypothetical or mental box? Maybe I'm not allowing myself to try different things, or maybe I'm letting fear control me a little bit, and that's that trapped feeling. So do you see where I'm going with this? Is that you have to validate. You can't just automatically, oh, you're not being grateful. Oh, you're not being grateful. You know what? It's not about that in that moment. Okay. All right. So I think that's the limit of my alone time here. I'm gonna go back inside my house. And guys, I don't have any food on my face. Oh goodness. I love you all. This was just a short little message. I know it's a little bit all over the place, but I'm trying to shy away from teleprompter. Okay, I'm trying to back away from that. I'm starting to depend on that, and I don't like it necessarily. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel like me. But there's so many more things I want to talk about with you guys, but I'm gonna leave it at that for now. I love you guys. Please leave a like if you are so inclined, for more messages, and so that you don't miss this 72-hour gratitude challenge that we're starting on Monday. Please click that subscribe, okay? I love you guys. Have a great day. Have a great week, and be positive. I wanted to mention quickly that I'm going to be doing a 72-hour gratitude challenge. I'm going to introduce that on Monday. I think 72 hours is enough time to feel some kind of difference. They do say 21 days is how long it takes to make a new habit and to really bring it into your subconscious as part of your identity. But 72 hours is enough time to feel a positive benefit, you know, to feel something good out of something.